It's a pleasure to be back with you. Ambassador Sands, I associate myself with your remarks. Excellent, great summation of really what we're talking about and what we're fighting about. But I want to recognize the NCRI right at the outset. You have maintained this fight for 50 years. 50 years. And I applaud you for doing that. And we are in the red zone now, in a football term. We are close to winning. We can win this. This is the time. We don't quit now. This is the time you see it on through. You push it hard. We are here. We can do this. This can happen. And so I really want to urge you to continue to really press in, particularly at this moment right now. The first time I ran for public office, I ran for Congress in Kansas. First time I came in, I tried to get around me as many kind of beautiful people as I could, mayors of communities and state legislators and this and that. When it got to a tough fight, and when I got a little controversial, they all scattered. They didn't want to hurt their reputations. And so I reconnoitered, refigured, and I recruited the people who would fight, whether they were pretty or not, but they'd fight. And we won. And we won, and we won. The NCRI is a group that'll fight. And that's what you've got to have at this point in time, is a group of people who will fight. Thank you for doing that for 50 years, and let's finish the task now. This is the time to do it. Now, the area in particular I want to hit is the theological beliefs of the people who are now in power in Iran. With what's taken place, the theological views of this Iranian regime cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon or remain in power in Iran. If they retain power, they will be a wounded bear, and they'll be more dangerous than ever. They will attack, regardless of who it is. They will attack the United States. They will attack Israel. They will attack Gulf countries as long as they are in power. They will do it any way they can. They will do it with terrorists. They'll do it with bombs. They'll do it with blackmail in the Strait of Hormuz. They will do it any way they can. That's the theological point of view of Mahdiism. That's the theological view. They believe this theological construct is that the regime must destroy its enemies and create a pure Islamic society to hasten the return of their messianic figure, Imam Mahdi. That's who they believe they are. And if they are allowed to somehow stay in power after all this bombing, they will declare victory and a martyrdom complex that will be more dangerous than even it was in the past. There will be no peace in the region while this regime is in power. That is the blunt point of where we are right now. In a Western term, we've been riding a horse and we're halfway across the river, and you can't turn back now. You have to get this regime out of power. We must have regime change or it will get worse. As weak as the regime will be, it will get worse. Blackmailing, killing, or fleeing of all religious minorities inside of Iran, whether they be Christians or Jews, Baha'is, Sunni Muslims, and others, all will be in grave danger, particularly any converts from Islam or those who have become non-adherents. They will be attacked by this regime. They will be killed. They will have to flee. It will have impact in Europe. It will have impact in the United States. We have seen this play before. This will happen. If they stay in power, this regime that's there now, the martyr complex, as I mentioned, of the regime, will declare victory and be emboldened, recruiting jihadists and terrorists from around the world. That's what's going to happen. They will believe they are closer than ever to the return of the Messiah, Imam Mahdi, and must aggressively attack their enemies at home and abroad to remove them. This will be an extremely, extremely dangerous situation, and it does not need to be that way. The regime must be removed. We can do more, the United States and the West, to facilitate this. We can bring opposition groups together. We can support groups like the National Council for Resistance in Iran. We can urge the coming together of groups like the Kurds and the NCRI. We can arm and train these groups. We can work with them in the ways moving on forward. We can share intelligence with these groups and work with them closer to bring this regime and move it out of power. We can establish and maintain no-fly zones in key areas, like, say, where the Kurds are located, and be able to allow them to build up resistance and efforts and safe zones within that nation so that things can move on forward towards Tehran, that we can overturn the regime. We need to continue to have a muscular position towards Iran. A muscular military position, I believe, a muscular diplomatic position where we push and bring together these groups that are opposed to the regime, groups that can force change on the ground, groups that have boots on the ground like what the MEK has. We have to work with these to see this on through and to seize this moment that has been pushed for and sought after and desired for 50 years. And we're so close to getting it done. We can't quit now. We've got to score. We've got to get this done. Otherwise, the situation will be far worse. Thank you for being in this fight so long. God bless you.